Please, the court, Lady Linda, says I call the next witness, Mr. Peter Barber. He's number 4, lady, on the list of witnesses.
Africa.
The witness may be sworn in.
Noteer, my lady. Nu, wat is de volle naam van?
Peter Jacob Baba.
Peter Jacob Baba, dat is de witness's name. Het die enige bezwaar om die afgeschreven eed af te leggen?
Nee.
The witness has no objection in taking the prescribed oath. Beschouw je dat als wandend op je geweten?
Ja.
Als het die geval is, zweer je dat die getuigenis wat je gaan afleveren die waarheid gaan wees, die hele waarheid, niks anders als die waarheid niet, steek je rechterhand op en zeg zo help me God. Zeg dat.
Help me God.
What is sworn in, my lady?
Thank you very much.
Certainly.
You may be seated, Mr. Baba.
Mr. Barber, you're a shift leader and a security guard. Is that correct?
Hij is maar als chefleader en als secretarisbeambte niet.
Ja.
Yes.
And you do your duties at the Silverwood estate.
Is werkzaam te Silverwood, landbouw.
Ja.
Yes.
How long have you been at the Silverwood estate?
Hoe lang is het wat hij te Silverwood werkzaam is?
Zo'n 2 jaar nu.
For about 2 years now, my lady.
Now, how many guards do you have on a shift at Silverwoods?
Hoeveel wachten heeft hij per skof te Silverwoods?
Ons is 5 van de aand.
We are 5. Hoe werkt het night? En?
5 van die dag.
And 5 during the day.
Now, you're the shift leader.
Easy leier van die skofte.
Ja.
Yes.
And the other 4, where would they be stationed?
En waar worden die andere 4 gestationeerd?
Ik heb die supervisor, die bakkerij. En dan heb ik mijn 1 patrol over klokpatrol doen.
I have a supervisor, 1 man who performs patrol duties.
1 wat samen met mij bij die hek werkt.
And the other one who works with me at the gate.
Die 1 wat binnenkant met die bicycle rondrijdt.
And the one who works inside the basics inside, my lady.
Let us just, the last one you spoke about, you said he's inside. What kind of transport does he use inside?
Wat voor type vervoer gebruikt is diegene wat binnen die air werkt?
Met die fiets.
A bicycle. A bike, my lady.
Yes, and?
En?
Dat is al.
Dat is
Do you
zo.
have somebody
Ja, 5 number.
with a vehicle on patrol?
Is daar enige wat een voertuig gebruikt?
Ja.
Om je te patrouilleren? Yes.
Dat is die supervisor met die bakkie.
There's the supervisor who drives around in a buggy.
Now, if somebody would arrive at the estate to visit one of the people that stay there, what procedure did you follow?
Sê bietjie of watter prosedure volg julle as iemand miskien iemand kom besoek by die Silverhouse iets? Watter prosedure is dit wat julle volg?
Die eerste ding, als onze visitor heeft wat de inwoner bezoekt, dan gee die ou wat het die voertuig schrijft met die adres waar die persoon gaan.
When a person comes to visit somebody who resides at the estate, there is somebody who takes down the particulars of the person's motor vehicle, as well as the name of the person this person came to visit. En wat nog?
Die persoon wat die voertuig bestuur gee vir die wa, die bestuurslisensie.
And the driver of that particular motor vehicle is supposed to give the guard his driver's license.
En gee vir ons die eienaar se erfnommer.
And he's also supposed to give us the owner's stand number.
As hy nie weet die eienaar se erfnommer nie, dan gee ons die eienaar se naam en van.
And if that person doesn't know the owner's stand number, he's supposed to furnish us with the name of the owner as well as his surname.
Dan my werk, dan bel ek die kliënt.
Then my duty is to phone the client.
Is om die kliënt gee vir my toestemming
You mean
sodat
phone
die
this? Sorry,
besoeker
1
kan
minute.
ingaan.
You said phone the client. You mean
Correct, my lady. As
Phone
you
the
said, the
owner.
client na wie verwys hy?
Die eienaar van die huis.
If I say the client, my lady, I'm referring to the owner of the house.
thank you.
Dan moet die, en wat moet die eienaar doen?
Die eienaar gee my toestemming
Then the owner must grant me permission
sodat die besoeker kan ingaan.
to allow that visitor inside the premises, my lady.
Ek is dan die een wat vir die wag wat die besoeker geskryf het, toestemming gee om die hek oop te maak.
And I'm the one who's supposed to grant permission to the guard who wrote down the driver's, the motor vehicle's driver's particulars, permission to let that person drive into the premises.
As ons nie die eienaar in die hande kry nie,
And if we can't get hold of the owner,
dan word geen access toegelaat op die estate nie. Die besoeker moet teruggaan.
then no access will be gained inside the premises, then the visitor will have to go back.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Barber. Can you still remember on the night of 13 February to 14 February 2013, who was on duty with you?
Meneer, onthou jy nog op die dag van die 13de na die 14de van Februarie 2013, saam met wie was ek werksaam?
Ja, ek kan onthou.
I still remember.
Please
Wie
tell
was
us.
het? Saam met wie het jy gewerk?
Is Baba, is ek,
Baba, I'm referring to myself, my lady,
dis Maluleka,
en Maluleka,
dis Chauke,
Chauke,
Ndamande
Ndimande,
en Mogoba,
and Mogoba,
Jacob Mogoba.
Jacob Mogoba.
The accused before court, Mr. Oscar Pistorius. Do you know him?
Meneer, ken jy die beskuldigde voor die hof, meneer Oscar Pistorius?
Ja, ek ken vir meneer Pistorius.
Yes, I know Mr. Pistorius, my lady.
How do you know him?
Hoe ken jy hom?
Ek ken vir meneer Pistorius. Is oral op TV sinds ek was nog baie jonk ook.
I know him as a person who's always been on TV since I was very young, my lady. He's a famous person.
But he had a house in the estate as well.
Maar hy het ook 'n huis daar op die golwe gehad, nee.
Ja, dis een van ons kliënte.
Yes, he's one of our clients.
The deceased in this matter, Riva Steenkamp, did you know her?
Het jy die oorledene in die saak Riva Steenkamp geken?
Ek leer ken vir Riva deur meneer Pistorius.
I knew Riva through Mr. Pistorius.
Now, on the evening of 13 February, you were on night duty.
Op die aand van die 13de van Februarie was hy op aandiens, nee.
Ja, dit was my laaste nag.
Yes, that was my last night.
And you were at the gate.
En hy was by die hek.
Ja,
Yes.
Did you see Riva Steenkamp, the deceased in this matter, on that night?
Het jy Riva Steenkamp die oorledene in die saak op die betrokke aand gesien?
6 uur as hy inkom.
6 o'clock when she came in.
When she came in, was she alone or was she with somebody else?
Toe sy ingekom het, was sy alleen of was sy saam met iemand anders?
Hold on. Do we know what time? 6 in the morning, in the evening?
I apologize, my lady. Mr. Barber, if you say 6 o'clock, was it in the morning or in the afternoon?
As sy sê 6 uur wanneer, in die oggend of in die aand of namiddag.
Toe ons rapporteer aan diens,
When we reported for duty, my lady, en wanneer was het?
nagskof, sê sy.
For night shift,
Ja.
my lady.
Now, when she came in, was she alone or was she with somebody else?
Toe sy ingekom het, was sy alleen of was daar iemand by haar?
Sy was in die kar alleen.
She was alone inside the car.
Did you talk to her?
Het jy met haar gepraat?
Ja, ons het gepraat oor.
Yes, we spoke.
When she came in at 6 o'clock that night, did you phone to Mr. Pistorius' house or not?
Op die betrokke dag toe sy ingekom het ongeveer 6 uur, het die meneer Pistorius sy huis gebel of te nie?
Nee,
Nou,
Please tell the court why.
vertel jy of, hoekom nie?
my lady, Riva was deur die dag al klaar daar.
My lady Riva had been there during the day already.
So you just opened and she went in.
Het maar net die hek oopgemaak toe ry sy aan.
As die inwoner se gaste deur die dag daar was, miskien soms kere dan het hulle iets vergeet, dan sê hulle ek kom nou terug sekuriteit, ek gaan net gou winkel toe, ek gaan koop vir my sigarette of ek gaan koop gou koeldrank. Soos ek het gehoor het by die mense wat daar werk, sy het wasgoed in haar kar gehad toe sy uitgaan.
Okay,
So dit beteken
My lady say for instance if the owners Vasata had been there at the owner's place during the day, and maybe drive out of the premises, and it so happens that this person tend to have forgotten something, that person will inform the security officers about that, then we will grant that person permission to go into the premises again. Like from what I learned from other people, it was alleged that Riva had some laundry in her car during that day when she drove out of the premises
en sy het teruggekom later.
and she then came back at a later stage.
Now, Mr. Barber, did you see the accused arrive at the estate?
Het jy die later aankom by die landbou gesien?
Oscar, meneer Pistorius het so 'n paar minute na Riva aangekom.
Mr. Pistorius came in a few minutes late, a few minutes after Riva came in, my lady.
Meneer Pistorius, ek het meneer Pistorius gegroet
I greeted Mr. Pistorius,
en meneer Pistorius was op die selfoon.
and by then he was on his cell phone, my lady.
Now, the access gate, do you close it at certain times during the night?
Die toeganghek, sluit julle dit soms in die aand?
Ja,
Yes.
At what time?
Hoe laat?
8 uur maak ons een kant toe.
8 o'clock, we close one side of the gate at 8 o'clock in the aand,
Ja, nie aan.
in the evening.
En dan 9 uur maak ons al die hekke toe.
And then at 9 o'clock, we close all the gates.
Mr. Barber, you know that this court case is about an incident that happened on that night. Is that
Wanneer
correct?
jy weer die hofsaak is ter sprake van die voorval wat op die betrokke aanplaas vind het, nee.
Ja, my lady.
Hier is my lady.
So please tell the court what happened.
Sê die hof, of vertel die hof wat die betrokke aanplaas vind het.
Ek was een van my manne wat op patrol was. Het kom rapporteer aan my dat my vrou van der Merwe, Dr. Stip,
One of my guards who were on patrol duties that night came to inform me that Mrs. van der Merwe,
Dr. Stip
Dr. Stip,
en meneer De Venter.
and Mr. Defender,
Mevrouw van der Merwe se motorhek was oop.
by then Mrs. van der Merwe's gate was open.
Dr. Stip, die boonste sliding door was oop.
Dr. Stip's top sliding door was open.
En 194 is die klein hekkie wat oop was.
And the 194, the small gate, was also open.
En dan ek het toe gaan besluit ek wil draai saam met hom loop sodat ek sommer die fence kyk of alles reg is ook binnekant.
I then decided to accompany this guard just to ascertain whether everything was in order as well as the small fence.
Die wa het saam met my geloop was Maluleka.
The guard who was in my company was Maluleka.
Hy was op klokpatrol saam met my.
He was on clock patrol with me. My lady, I'll put it just as the witness says it. Yeah.
Ek het toe gaan kry 194 se klein hekkie is oop.
I then went and found that 194 small gate was open.
193 Dr. Stip. Die sliding door was oop.
And at 193 by Dr. Stip's, his sliding door was open.
Hulle het nog nie geslaap teen daai tyd nie.
They were not yet sleeping by then.
Hulle het my gesê die sliding deur is oop omdat hulle warm kry.
They told me that their sliding door was open because they were feeling hot.
En 180 mevrou van der Merwe
And at 180, at Mrs. van der Merwe's,
se motorhek was oop.
her motor gate was open.
Ek het hulle toe SMS's gestuur van die site se selfoon.
I then sent them SMS's from the site's cell phone.
Toe beweeg ek aan met die sekuriteit die wag met die volle patrollie te loop dat ek die hele ander estate deur sien.
I then
Alles reg was.
accompanied the other patrol guard in order to patrol the estate as a whole, my lady.
Mr. Barber, whilst we're talking about cell phones and phones, how would you make contact with the owners of the house?
As ons nou van selfone praat, hoe maak jy kontak met die eienaars van die huise? Can I have some water, please?
Yeah, no, you're welcome to.
Drink.
Sorry my lady.
He apologizes, my lady.
Die eerste punt, ons het 'n selfoon, 'n site selfoon
The first point is we have a cell phone,
en ons
which
het
we call the site cell phone,
en ons het 'n landlyn.
and we also have a landline.
Soms kere kry ons onderbrekings op die landlyn.
On some occasions, we encounter breaking transmissions on the landline.
Dan kan ons die site selfoon gebruik om die eienaars te bel.
Then we make use of the site cell phones in phoning the owners.
Alle eienaars, hulle het die site selfoonnommer
All the owners have the site cell phone numbers
en die landlynnommer.
as well as the landline number.
Good. Mr. Barber, you've now been on patrol with your guard, and what happened there?
Okay, is nou op patrouilledienste saam met die wag. En wat
Just
gebeur?
after that, yeah. What?
Wat het na dit gebeur?
Omtrent so voor 3 het ek teruggekom, so 5 voor 3 was ek nou terug by die hek.
About 5 to 3, I was already back at the gate.
En die een wag wat op fietspatrol was,
And the one guard who was on bike duty,
hy
duty patrol,
het by die hek aangekom. En de man daar sy naam het
came to
kom,
the gate. His name is in demand, my lady.
rapporteer dat hij geweerskoten gehoor werd.
To report that he had rifle shots
Een trein so pas 3.
around past 3, my lady.
Yes.
Na 'n paar oomblikke het ek 2 oproepe ontvang van Dr. Stip
After a few moments, I received telephone calls from Dr. Stubb
en meneer Nketwa 287
as well as from Mr. Ntengetwa. By what number?
287
From number 287.
en hulle het my gerapporteer dat hulle gunskote hoor by hulle bure.
And they also made the report to me that they had gunshots from their neighbors.
Omdat ek nie weet watter bure hulle van praat nie,
Seeing that I didn't know which neighbors were they referring to,
het ek die man wat die bakkie ry geroep en gesê ek wil saam met hom gaan om uit te vind waar vanaf kom die gunskote.
I then called the man who was driving, the guard who was driving the buggy, my lady, and told him that I want to drive around with him just to go and find out where those gunshots were coming from.
Ek het ook die man vir 'n demande met die bicycle teruggestuur
I also sent and demanded the man with the bike back,
om seker te gaan maak waar kom die gunskote vandaan.
also to go and make sure as to where were those gunshots coming from.
Ek het met Jacobs wat die bakkie ry tot by 193 Dr. Stip se plek gery.
I drove with the man who was driving the buggy, what's his name?
Jacobs Mogoba.
Mr. Jacobs Mahova, up until we reached Dr. Stubbs' house at house number 193.
En Dr. Stip hulle buitekant op die balkonie gestaan.
And by then, Dr. Stubb and them were standing outside on the balcony.
Dr. Stip het my die huis onmiddellik direk gewys in Oscar, meneer Pistorius.
At that stage, Dr. Stubb pointed directly at Mr. Pistorius' house.
Op die oomblik, daar was van die rigting wat met Dr. Stip was het baie duidelik, want die lig van meneer Pistorius was aan, van agteraf.
Mr. Pistorius' house was directly visible from the direction where Dr. Stubb was standing, and Mr. Pistorius' house lights were on.
So ek het onmiddellik tot daar gery.
So I immediately drove there.
En toe ek by 286 waar meneer Pistorius bly,
Upon arrival at house number 286 where Mr. Pistorius was residing,
het ek die oproep begin maak om na meneer Pistorius toe, van die sy selfoon.
that's when I started making calls to Mr. Pistorius' house from the site cell phone.
Ek het toen met meneer Pistorius gepraat
I then spoke to Mr. Pistorius,
en meneer Pistorius het vir my gesê, security, everything is fine.
That's when Mr. Pistorius said to me, security, everything is fine, just as the witness says it, my lady, in English.
En ek het agtergekom meneer Pistorius huil
That's when I realized that Mr. Pistorius was crying.
en vir Jacob gesê alles is nie in orde soos meneer Pistorius vir my sê nie.
That's when I said to Jacobs, not everything was in order as Mr. Pistorius was telling me.
Daar ek het toe probeer met meneer Pistorius gepraat
I then tried to speak to Mr. Pistorius so that he can do what?
sodat hy kan afkom, dat ek maak seker alles is reg.
So that he could come down, my lady, just to make, so that I could make sure that everything was fine.
En die conversation het daar gedrop.
And that's where our conversation ended.
And What happened after that?
En wat het daarna? Of achterna?
Meneer Pistorius het my teruggebel. Ek weet nie seker, hy wil my seker nie teruggebel het nie.
Het u teruggebeld?
Hy het my teruggebel.
Mr. Pistorius called me back. En wat sê u was nie seker nie?
Hy was nie seker. Ek ben, hy het nie
Maybe
met my
he
gepraat
wasn't sure about calling me back.
nie. Hy het net begin huil op die foon.
He just started crying over the phone.
En die foon gaan weer af.
That's when the line went off again, my lady.
What happened then, sir?
En wat het daarna
Ek het
gebeur?
duidelik vir Jacob gesê, alles is nie reg nie.
I told Jacob immediately that everything was not in
En
order.
hy het gehoor, ek en meneer Pistorius se conversation. En hy het daar in die bakkie gesit en gehoor hoe hy meneer Pistorius op die foon.
Because he could hear our conversation, the conversation between me and Mr. Pistorius as he was sitting inside the buggy.
Na 'n paar minute kom meneer Stander en met sy dogter.
After a few minutes, that's when Mr. Stander and his daughter came.
En met 'n blou Mini Cooper.
Het hulle in 'n blou Mini Cooper gery.
Ja, hulle het in 'n
They
blou.
were driving in a blue Mini Cooper
En die kar so half parkeer in die middel van die straat.
and they parked the car halfway into the street.
En ek kan duidelik op hulle gesigte sien dat hulle weet iets het gebeur by meneer Pistorius se huis.
I could directly see from their faces that they knew exactly that something happened at Mr. Pistorius' house.
Meneer Stander het nie eens kans gekry om vir my te groet of vir my verduidelik wat gaan aan nie. Hulle het net uit die kar gespring.
Okay. Mr.
Reguit.
Stander didn't even get the opportunity of explaining or telling me as to what happened or greet me. They just jumped out of the car
Reguit na die huis waar meneer Pistorius bly.
and went straight to Mr. Pistorius' house.
Ek en Jacob en de Mande het saam agter hulle twee gehardloop.
Jacob and the man and myself then ran after them.
Soos ons na in die deur is, het meneer Pistorius, het ons gesien meneer Pistorius, ons 5.
When we were about to reach the door, when we were near the door, that's when Mr. Pistorius saw the 5 of us.
Nee. Meneer Pistorius het afgekom met Riva.
That's when Mr. Pistorius came down with Riva.
What did you see? Tell us what
Wat het
you see.
julle gesien?
Ek het gesien meneer Pistorius kom af met Riva.
I saw Mr. Pistorius coming down with Riva.
My lady, ek het so groot geskrik
My lady, I was so shocked
dat ek nie vir 'n paar oomblikke kan gedink het
that I couldn't even think for a few moments
watter klere Oscar het aangetrek.
as to what clothing Mr. Oscar was wearing.
Ek het my bewussyn begin kry toe my juffrou Stander sê Oscar.
I started regaining consciousness when Mrs. Stander said, Oscar.
Ek was net geskok, maar ek het gesien Oscar kom af met Riva.
I was shocked, my lady, but I could see Oscar coming down with Riva.
Yeah. If you say coming down with Riva, how did he come down with her?
As hy sê, hy het afgekom met Riva. Hoe het hy met Riva afgekom?
My lady, soos ek gesê het nou, ek het gestaar na Oscar.
My lady, as I said, I was staring at Oscar.
Te groot geskrik dat meneer Pistorius vir my gesê het alles is reg.
I got such a terrible fright up until Mr. Pistorius told me that everything was fine.
Dan kom kry ek hy kon dra nou vir Riva af.
Only to come and find him carrying Riva down.
Now, if you say carrying, how did he carry it?
As hy sê dra, hoe het hy haar gedra?
Soos ek sê my lady, ek het punte gemis soos hoe het hy vir Riva gedra.
As I said, my lady, I missed some points as to how was he carrying Riva.
Ek was te geskok
I was too shocked.
dat ek eers gerealiseer het as my juffrou Stander sê Oscar.
As I said, I started realizing as to what was happening when Mr. Standard said Oscar.
En sy het in die huis gegaan.
And she went inside the house.
Niemand het ons
Can I
vir
just
ons die deur
interrupt a
oopgemaak.
little? When you say coming down from where
Ja,
to
sy sê
where?
afkom van waar af.
Meneer Pistorius was my juffrou Riva vanaf topvloer en die boonste vloer afgedra.
From the top floor to
Onder
the ground
op
floor.
die
He
ground
was
floor.
carrying
Mrs.
Riva
Riva.
from the top to the ground.
And you saw him on the stairs.
Jy het hom daar op die trappies gesien.
Ja, my lady.
Yes, my lady.
Now, you said that somebody went into the house.
Jy sê iemand het binne die huis ingegaan.
Niemand het vir ons die deur oopgemaak nie. My juffrou Stander het net die deur oopgemaak en ingegaan.
No one opened the door for us. What transpired was that Mrs. Stander, she's the one who opened the door herself and went inside.
En meneer Stander het by die deur gestaan.
He's that.
Meneer Stander,
And Mr. Stander was standing at the door.
my juffrou Stander se pa.
Mr. Stander's father, Mrs. Stander's father.
Dis nou waar ek wil besef het dat ek kry
Wat kry?
dit is nou waar ek besef het ek wil sien watter klere Oscar meneer Pistorius aan het.
And that's when I wanted to see what type of clothing was Mr. Pistorius wearing.
Dan meneer Stander stuur vir my om die polisie en die ambulans te gaan bel.
And that's when Mr. Stander sent me to go and call the police as well as the paramedics or the ambulance, as he says, my lady.
En Jacob Mogabe, die driver van die bakkie,
Jacob Mugabe, the driver of the buggy,
hy moet die polisie escort na die toneel toe.
was supposed to escort the police to the scene of the incident.
Meneer Stander het aan in de mande gesê dat hy in die straat moet gaan staan en kyk al die karre moet nie daar by meneer Pistorius se huis parkeer nie.
And that's when Mr. Stander gave him the instructions to go and make sure that there are no cars that are being parked at Mr. Pistorius' house.
Ek is, my lady, ek is daar weg en die polisie en die ambulans te gaan bel.
My lady, I then left to go and call the police as well as the paramedics.
En my lady, ek het net vergeet die kaptein se naam van Boskop, maar ek het met die kaptein van Boskop gepraat en hulle die adres gegee. Maar ek het dit geskryf in my VB.
My lady, I just forgot the name of the captain I spoke to from Boschkov, but I noted his name down in my occurrence book, and he's the person I spoke to,
En ek het die ambulans gebel.
and I also called the ambulance.
En ek het die controlekamer, die beheerkamer en die estate manager hulle almal gelaat weet.
And I also called the control room or office, and even informed the owner of the
The-
estates,
The estate manager.
the estate manager.
You never went into the house.
Ek het nie binne die huis ingegaan nie.
Ons het voor meneer Stander, my lady, het voor ons in die deur gestaan.
My lady, Mr. Stander was standing in front of us at the door.
En het my opdragte gegee om die polisie en die ambulans te bel.
And you only gave me orders to go and call the police as well as the paramedics.
Nee, my lady, ek het nie in die huis gegaan.
No, my lady, I didn't go inside the house.
Were there lights on inside the house?
Was die ligte aan binne die huis?
Ja, my lady.
Yes.
I've nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Roo.
Thank you, my lady. Mr. Baba, with the guards in general, and also that evening when you walk patrol, you have a guard track at certain points that you activate to show that you've in fact done the patrol.
Ja, dat is die wat hulle die trekker noem van die kaarte wat daar patrolleer, nee, wat op sekere punten staan. Net om aan te duiden dat jullie wel gepatrolleer.
That's reg, my lady.
Dat is correct, my lady.
How does it work? What do you do with that guard track?
Hoe werkt het? Wat doen jullie daarmee?
My lady, dat gaan af na elke uur.
It goes off after every hour.
Voor meneer Oscar Pistorius se huis
In front of Mr. Pistorius' house.
is daar 'n klokpunt
There's a clocking point.
en hulle moet daar gaan klok elke uur.
And they are supposed to go and clock there every hour.
As hulle dit nie doen nie, dan wys die masjien fail patrol.
If they do not do that, then the machine will indicate
Fail patrol.
fail patrol. I'll put it literally just says it in Afrikaans.
That it failed.
That it failed.
Dit is
Yes.
Now, the state made available to us the guard track points and the times, and just see if it accords with what you can remember.
Ja, meneer Roos sê alles in besit van die guard checkpunte en
And maybe it would be helpful if the state would assist to just make that document available, that I can show it to you. Well, not to waste time, I'll read it in the meantime, and if you would allow me to do it. I see that, and I'm talking now the morning, Mr. Baba, of the early morning of the 14th of February 2013, whilst they're looking for the document.
Ja, hy sê hy sien in die vroege ure van die oggend nou op die 14de van Februarie.
There was a guard track at point 2,
Daar was 'n guard track op punt 2 nee.
Bush Willow 188.
Ja, Bushveld 188.
Can you remember that?
Onthou jy dit?
There it is.
Of wil jy eers sien?
dis die klokpunt.
Ekskuus?
Dis.
There's the guard check. Hier.
Is that the guard track at
Is dit?
close
Yes.
to Mr. Pistorius' house? Next
Ja,
to
naby meneer Pistorius se huis, nee.
Ja.
Yes.
It's right next to his stand.
Dis net daar langs die erf, nee.
Is that right, Mr. Baba?
Is dit reg meneer Baba?
Dis reg, my lady.
That is correct, my lady. U moet mondelings behandel sodat uw stem kan opgeneem word.
Well, lady, if you would allow me, it may inconvenience the court. We only have the one document, but it's just to get times. I will make the document available to the court, a copy. It will only deal with the times. I will come back to this document again.
Okay.
I will first in general deal, and for the details, I will of course make sure that you have a copy, my lady.
Yes, there's no objection to this, Mr. Nell?
No, not at all.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank you, my
please.
lady. Mr. Baba, would you go to, just to help you, points 86
Yes?
to 94?
Van hier af?
95.
Tot 95.
We'll come back to it later. I want you to look at it, and then I want to put something to you.
Ja, jy sê wil net iets aan die stel nie. Okay.
At 2:20 that morning,
Ja, om 2:20 die oggend,
the guard track there in the immediate vicinity of Mr. Pistorius' house was activated.
die kaarttrek langs meneer Pistorius se huis was aktiveer nie.
Ja, my lady.
Yes, my lady.
And that was at the time, if I look at the statements, that you were with Mr. Maluleka.
En dis op die stadium, as jy na die vertarings kyk, was dit die tyd toe jy saam met meneer Maluleka gewees het, nee.
Ja, my lady.
Yes, my lady.
And if I look at the statements, well, I have to look at Mr. Maluleka's statement, that there was no noise or no disturbance at that time.
En hy sê as hy na meneer Maluleka se verklaring kyk, sê hulle, al sê hy, daar was geen geraas of enige frustreerhede op daai stadium nie, nee.
My lady, toe ons daar voorbij loop, was alles normaal.
Your worship, when we went past that place, everything was normal.
As I understand Mr. Maluleka's statement, and maybe you can tell me if it's true or not, is that the garage, the outside light was on, but not the inside light.
Hy sê as jy na meneer Maluleka se verklaring kyk, sê hulle die buitekantste motorhuis lig was aan, nee.
Alles is normaal geweest zoals bij meneer Oster zei, is elke aan.
Everything was normal, as it's always the situation at Mr. Pistorius' house every night.
And as you walked on all these houses, there are a number of guard tracks in the vicinity of Mr. Pistorius' house, down the road, as will be indicated on this guard track.
En soos julle hier al die perseel stap as daar guard tracks by min of meer huise van meneer Pistorius' huis af, nee.
You would see there's different points there.
Dat is verskillende punte.
As you walk past that,
As jy verby daar stap.
Dat ik net gezien, my lady, laat ik net gewoon naar die erwe zien.
Let me just check the stains, my lady.
Is net 3 erwe.
Only 3 stains.
Met meneer Pistorius is included.
With Mr. Pistorius' house included.
yes, that you say that was close to, where the guard track was close to the
Wat na
houses, where
die
it was
guard
close to
gewees het.
Mr. Pistorius' house.
Die erwe wat ik naar verwijs, moet voorbij meneer Pistorius is gepatrolleerd worden, zodat jullie kan zien. Die andere 2 erwe.
And if you can look at that guard track list, what time was that when you...
I didn't hear the answer.
I'm sorry, my lady, if they could repeat.
Sorry, my lady.
Sorry.
Ik zei die erwe waarvan ik verwijs
The stains I refer to
is 162
is 162,
en 153.
as well as 153.
Dat is diezelfde straat en in de voorkant van meneer Pistorius.
It's in the same street, but on the front portion of Mr. Pistorius' house.
Dat is een Wildwood Way.
And that's in a Wildwood Way.
Dat is aan die voorkant. Om naar hulle erwe toe te gaan, naar die erwe waar ik verwijs, my lady.
That's on the front portion, my lady. And in order to can reach those stains I'm referring to,
Ons moet meneer Pistorius er voorbij lopen.
we have to go past Mr. Pistorius' stand.
So that was after 2:20 now.
En dat was nou na 220.
Ja,
Yes.
And everything was still as before, normal,
En
quiet.
alles was normaal, stil.
alles is normaal voorgekomen.
Everything seemed to be normal, my lady.
The telephone number, and I'm just thinking if there would be something significant about the security telephone number. The telephone number of the security, the cell number ends with 37.
Hulle sê die daai telefoonnommer van die sekuriteits beëindig met 37, nee.
My lady, ons sitselnommer kan ik niet uit mijn kopie.
My lady, I don't know our cell site number by heart.
Kan dit niet onthouden.
Yes, it
And I
doesn't-
can't remember it.
we have it in statements. It's
Maar
not
hulle het dit in
serious.
die verklarings, volgens die route.
Now, what we have is we have a document as well that we will come back to that would give the calls made to the landline of the security.
Hulle sê hulle soek in besit van 'n dokument
From
wat
the
aandui
estate.
van die oproepe wat hulle op die landlynnommer gedoen het na die sekuriteitsbeamptes.
And what I want to say to you, and see if it accords with your memory, I'll give you the exact times, but insofar as it accords, you can tell the court, or if you tell me it cannot be, then you can tell the court,
En
is
sal
that
dan sê,
Dr. Stipp made a call, and if I may just ask the state to assist with the document. state's documents, but they don't have them. My lady, I'll rather get the documents ready because otherwise it may be confusing to the court when we commence on Monday. But what I want to put to you, Mr. Barber, and on Monday, rather, we'll make the documents that we received from the state available.
Okay, meneer Roux sê maandag sal hulle die dokumente aan u beskikbaar maak.
There was a call by Dr. Stipp at 3:15:51.
Ja, hulle sê Dr. Stipp het gesê om 3:51.
My lady, Dr. Stipp het my gebel op die landlynnommer.
My lady, Dr. Stipp did call me on the landline number.
And he spoke to you because I said it was a short call, it was 16 seconds.
En hy het saam met u gepraat want hulle sien die oproep wat 16 sekondes geduur. Is dit?
Dr. Stipp het vir my gesê daar is ganskote
Dr. Stipp told me that there were gunshots.
en ek moet kom sien waar die ganskote is. Hy het gesê sy bure.
And he said I must come and see where those gunshots were coming from. And he said those gunshots were from his neighbors.
There was also a call from Mr. Ntlendletla, that's the neighbor of Mr. Pistorius, and we know that was at 3:16:13 and again at 3:16:36. First one didn't go through, but at 3:16:36 it was 44 seconds.
Hulle sê daar was ook 'n oproep van meneer Ntlendletla afgekom het. Hy is ook een van die diere en dit was ongeveer 3:06:13. Die eerste oproep het nie ingekom nie, maar die tweede van 3:16:36 daai ene dier gekom. As dit so.
Dis reg.
That is correct, my lady.
And that's the call we also spoke about the gunshots.
En dis die oproep wat ook van die afweerskote gepraat het.
Dis reg, my lady.
That is correct, my lady.
Then the state also
I
made...
have to object. Not object, but I put on record that we don't have that number that ends on 37 as the estate's number. Our estate's number ends on 797.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Roux.
right. It's the person that called that I gave the number of. Doesn't matter. It's ends. And then I would have dealt with it. In fact, correctly. Ends 97. The number that I gave was the caller's last number.
Oh.
But the number ends at 97.
Ja, hulle sê hele selfsnommer, sy selfoonnommer.
But-
Vereenig met 97.
But you don't know the number.
Maar jy
so
ken
it's-
dit mos nie die jaar dit nie.
Dis reg, my lady.
That is correct, my lady.
And what I also want to, because on Monday we will proceed, but I want to give it to you now already,
Jy sê maandag gaan ons nog voer,
that
maar hy wil dit nog
Mr.
aan u
Pistorius, now if you can make a note, and I'll give this to the state also to make a note, that Mr. Pistorius made a call to the security cell number at 03:21 and 33 seconds.
Hulle sê meneer Roux sê jy moet aan nota daarvan maak. Nee, hulle sê meneer Pistorius het 'n oproep aan die sekuriteit se selfoonnommer ongeveer 03121 33 sekondes gemaak.
Dis die tyd wat meneer Pistorius gehuil het. Hy het nie met my gepraat het nie.
And that was the time when Mr. Pistorius was crying, my lady. The time when he didn't want to speak to me.
Nou, nie dat hy wil nie met my praat nie. Hy kan nie met my gepraat het nie.
That he couldn't speak to me, my lady.
It accords with Mr. Pistorius. He says that it's indeed correct. He was crying.
Hy sê stemmen, dis reg, hy het gehuil.
And he said that he then received a call, and we know the time from your call registered at 3:24.
En hy sê toe hy nou 'n oproep van julle selfoonnommer ontvang. Ongeveer 3:24.
That's also referred to in your statement, 3:24.
Dit staan ook in die verklaring.
Ek het met meneer Pistorius eerste gepraat voordat meneer Pistorius vir my teruggebel het.
I first spoke to Mr. Pistorius before he called me back, my lady.
What I want you to do, and you're more than welcome, Monday that the state gave us a chart with all the calls made of the evening, and what I say to you, that your call was correctly stated in your statement and also on the state's chart to be 324.
Ja, hij zei wat ons maandag kan doen. In die verklaring staat het wel dat die oproep om 3:24 gemaakt was. Dat is correct, zodat het in die verklaring, zowel als in die documenten ook staan.
Dan sal ons maandag daarna sien, maar
Then we'll have to look at it on Monday.
Now, can you remember that on the 14th of February at 1 o'clock, that's that morning, early afternoon, after the incident, that you made a statement to the police?
Meneer, onthou je dat hij op die 14e van februari, ongeveer 1 uur die ochtend, dat verklaring aan de politie gemaakt heeft?
ja, ek het 'n verklaring afgegee.
Yes, I did make a statement.
And can you remember what you told the police, what Mr. Pistorius had said to you when you spoke to him?
En kan je nog onthou wat hij aan de politie gezegd heeft, wat aan u door meneer Pistorius gezegd heeft, toen je met die gepraat hebt?
Meneer Pistorius het aan my gesê, my lady,
Mr. Pistorius said to me,
security, everything is fine.
security, everything is fine.
He did not say, in response to a question, that he is okay.
Het hij niet gezegd, hij is oké niet, toen we maar vragen gevraagd niet,
And he was then crying.
en toen hij niet.
Meneer Pistorius het gesê everything is okay.
No, Mr. Pistorius said, everything is okay.
So did he say everything is okay or he is okay?
Het hij gezegd, alles, everything is okay, of het hij gezegd, hij is oké.
My lady, meneer Pistorius het gesê everything is okay.
My lady, Mr. Pistorius said, everything is okay.
Did Mr. Pistorius say okay or did he say fine?
Het hij gezegd oké, of het hij gezegd fine?
My lady, die exact words van meneer Pistorius. Meneer Pistorius het gesê, security, everything is fine.
My lady, Mr. Pistorius' exact words were, security, everything is fine.
Yes. I will deal with that on Monday.
Hij zei, dat zal
Mr.
ons op
Baba.
maandag zien.
Now, what you do know is when you spoke to him that he was crying.
Wat hij van weet is dat u met hem gepraat had, dat hij gehuild.
Ja, my lady.
Hier is my lady. Is hij gemakkelijk of voel je ongemakkelijk? Voel je alright?
Beter.
I heard there was a question if the witness was fine.
Yeah, he says he's fine, my lady. He says he's feeling better now.
Lady, maybe he
I'm
says
sorry, I
he's
missed
feeling better, my lady. I see it is 10-2 and we have documents to prove, and I don't want the situation
Thank you
where
very much.
he doesn't feel fine and
Yeah.
would say that, of course.
I'm sorry I missed that. I'm so
In
sorry.
all fairness, of
I
course.
think we'll take a break now and come back on Monday.
Ons gaan een break tot maandag doen. Hè.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks, my lady.
We'll start at 9:30 on Monday morning.
Milady, may we convince you to start at 10 just for Monday?
At 10.
Yeah, Monday's got its own character. And if I could ask the court just for this one indulgence that we start Monday at 10.
Enlighten me. What character?
Amanda's got his own character. Everything goes wrong, milady, and everything takes longer to happen.
Well,
But if the court postpones it to Monday 9:30, we'll be here.
Mr. Roo, do you have something to say?
No, my lady, I thought that we can go on from 9:30 to 10 and then the state can come, but... But I'm in your hands, my lady. We preferred earlier, but if there's a difficulty with Mr. Nell...
Well, I'm not sure. You've persuaded me.
No, my lady, no. 9:30, we're fine. We'll be here.
Yes. We'll start at 9:30. Court will adjourn.